Tonight on 10 News, police have shot dead a man on Brisbane's north side. He was shot twice after confronting detectives with a gun. The fallout from David Gibson's shock resignation as police minister. The PM outlines her plan to withdraw troops early from Afghanistan. And teens camp out for One Direction as crooner Tony Bennett farewells Australia.
Tonight, gun down. A man is shot dead by police.
At this stage, we believe that the officers acted in self-defence.
We're live at the scene as the investigation begins.
Just 13 days, David Gibson's fleeting term as police minister.
I am human and I must take responsibility.
Why he resigned and who's taking over.
Exit Afghanistan. Our troops home a year early.
This is a war with a purpose. This is a war with an end.
But is it just a ploy to win votes?
One Direction! And One Direction mania. The boy band roadshow hits Brisbane.
This is 10 News at 5 with Bill McDonald and Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. It's been a dramatic 24 hours that has rocked the police force to its core. As we go to air, an investigation is underway after police shot dead a Bracken Ridge man in a volley of gunfire. That was just hours after the shock resignation of the new police minister. First, we'll cross to Tim Collins at Bracken Ridge. And Tim, police are saying this was self-defence.
Yes, Bill, it's most unusual that at this early stage of an investigation such as this, that police would be using phrases such as hunted down and trapped with nowhere to go. But that's exactly how they're describing the position two detectives found themselves in earlier today when they knocked on the front door of a suburban home here at Bracken Ridge to make a routine inquiry about stolen goods. Now, we're being told that the two detectives involved, apart from receiving counselling, are both very experienced Northern District police officers. We don't know a lot about the victim of this shooting today, except that he was, quote, well known to police. And this area behind me is expected to remain an off-limits crime scene well into this evening.
OK, keep us updated. Thank you. Tim Collins at Bracken Ridge.
The police shooting came as the Newman government was already reeling from the resignation of Police Minister David Gibson. He was caught speeding while his licence was suspended. Ursula Hager joins us now, and Ursula, the Premier says he sent Gibson to the sin bin. Does that mean he may come back?
Well, yes, it isn't quite the end for the Gympie MP, but it is a big blow to Campbell Newman's new government so soon since he was elected in an emphatic win. David Gibson was last night forced to resign from his two portfolios after he was caught speeding while driving without a licence. But Premier Campbell Newman hasn't ruled out a return to the front bench for Mr Gibson, saying only that he'll have to spend some time in the sin bin thinking about what he's done. That was David Gibson, obviously himself not ruling out a return, but his resignation has obviously prompted a cabinet reshuffle. The former Multicultural Affairs Minister Jack Dempsey will take over as Police Minister effective immediately.
Thank you, Ursula Hager at State Parliament. And Jack Dempsey will be in a familiar role as the new police minister, as he is a former police sergeant. Before he entered Parliament in 2006, he was stationed in Bundaberg. He was originally in the Newman cabinet as the Minister for Multicultural Affairs.
The spate of gun crime in the southeast has prompted the father of a murder victim to make an emotional plea for help. Sen Lin Lee is worried people with information have information but won't come forward.
Well, the Aussie market was out of the blocks in positive fashion this morning, but that was ahead of some key economic news, and unfortunately the gains were quite short-lived. The focus this afternoon, Rio Tinto, Australia's second largest miner, gave the market an update as to how it performed in the first 3 months of the year. Now, the company increased production in key commodities such as coal and also iron ore over the past 12 months, and this is partly due to better weather conditions. Now, Rio Tinto is up around 8% so far this year and single-handedly makes up about 2% of the whole Australian market. The Aussie dollar buys 103.2 US cents and 78.7 euro cents. Gold currently trades at 16.49 US an ounce, an ounce, and oil currently sits at $102 US a barrel.
Good evening. Well, we've been spared any severe storms so far, although there has been some pretty hefty rain, showery conditions moving through. In particular, last night, the Sunshine Coast in parts had more than 100 millimetres of rain, 108 millimetres last night at Point Lookout. We can expect more of that wet weather through tonight and into tomorrow, possibly some storms as well. Today in Brisbane, we had a maximum of 25 degrees. In between the wet weather, it was actually quite a nice day at times.
Tomorrow on 10 News, Queensland's newest hospital, more like a luxury 5-star hotel, but will it offer the same standard of healthcare? An exclusive look inside the Gold Coast University Hospital. That's tomorrow on 10 News. Norway's self-confessed mass murderer has sobbed in court, but they weren't tears of remorse. And as Breivik claims, his bombing and shooting spree was self-defence.
Tonight on The Project, more revelations involving the teenager locked up in an Australian adult prison and just what the government has to say about it. Plus, One Direction. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Charlie. Well, police officers say they were hunted by a gunman before they shot him dead in Bracken Ridge. For the very latest, we're joined by Tim Collins. And Tim, is what happened out there any clearer yet?
Only the detail that we've been able to glean from police about those tragic moments leading up to this shooting here at Bracken Ridge, Bill. What should have been a routine inquiry for stolen goods at the home of a man police describe as well known to them instead became a tragic and one-sided firefight.
An alarming hygiene audit has found Australia's shopping centres are a deadly breeding ground of bacteria. The report was commissioned by the Cleaners Union.
The fight against plain packaging for cigarettes. Tobacco companies say they're unconstitutional.
Also, the tallest tree on the Sunshine Coast, why it's called Big Bob and who it's named after. And before there was One Direction... there was Tony Bennett, 85 and still going strong.
We bring you the latest on Hamish McDonald's exclusive story of the young Indonesian boy in an Australian adult prison. Next on The Project.
You're watching 10 News Queensland. Retiring Sunshine Coast Mayor Bob Abbott has been given a tall order. The tallest tree on the coast, a 73-metre eucalypt, has been named Big Bob. It's thought to be hundreds of years old and was found in Conondale National Park following an aerial laser survey.
We need to make sure that long term these things can survive and our children and our grandchildren and forevermore those things will remain valuable to us and will continue to exist.
The survey is helping to manage development in the region.
Australia's world first laws imposing plain packets on cigarette companies are being challenged in the High Court. The tobacco giants are claiming their property rights are being stripped.
Pretty impressive for 85, Pete.
Oh, yeah.
Still got the lungs, G. Sure has.
Does.
Hello, everyone. Reds coach Ewan McKenzie denies he's angling for the Wallabies job. That's next. The Kiwis promised defector James Tarmo a fiery reception in Auckland. And Mitch Johnson would happily swap his undies for the Windies.
Toyota Sports Tonight, proudly brought to you by the car company that knows just how fragile you are.
The Kiwis are ready to give New Zealand defector James Tarmo a fiery welcome home in Friday's Anzac Test. But Australian halfback Jonathan Thurston believes the 113-kilo giant is well equipped to handle himself. Toyota Play of the Day time, and they just seem to be getting worse at the annual pond skimming event in Montana. Competitors from all ages repeatedly came up short as they tried to cross the icy water without getting wet.
I turned 50 today! I'm in a midlife crisis, and I had to prove it to my sister right here that I could do the pond skim. Yeah!
Fair enough. Happy birthday. Sports Tonight loves a good stack, so they all get our play of the day. Hell of a way to
celebrate your
50th birthday.
Yeah.
Why tell everyone?
Yeah, why so long?
Thank you, Pete. There's a possible storm ahead. Amanda has the details next.
This weather report is brought to you by Pino Clean Scrub and Wipe. One side for everyday touch-ups, the other for tougher mess. Pino Clean Scrub and Wipe.
Good evening from Kangaroo Point. Starting to cool off a little already, about 19 degrees outside at the moment. While it's lovely and clear here right now, we do have some showery weather that's going to move through this evening. Some parts of Brisbane are already feeling that, also on the Sunshine Coast. In fact, last night we had some quite heavy rain up there, as much as 100 millimetres for parts of the Sunshine Coast. Today, though, wasn't quite so bad, quite patchy really, only 10 millimetres or so for the southeast. The messy weather is going to hang around, however, with a low pressure system that's formed over the southern border, and while that is moving south, it's still going to influence our weather until the end of the week. Elsewhere in Sydney for Wednesday, it's going to be rainy once again, 23 degrees. A few showers for Canberra on 20. Melbourne a cloudy 24. Hobart will hit 22. Adelaide is feeling the heat, 30 degrees. Perth a couple of sprinkles, 25's the top. Still unsettled up in Darwin, 34 degrees there. If you're after some clear Queensland weather, head west. The rest of the state will see showers or storms from the tropics through central parts and into the southeast. Townsville 29 degrees. Rockhampton 19 to 28, Bundaberg 17 to 26. It's probably going to be a little warmer in the southeast tomorrow, and the air is still very unstable, so we are the chance of storms. The Sunshine Coast 26 degrees, 15 to 27 for Ipswich and 25 on the Gold Coast. Boaties southeasterlies to 10 to 15 knots initially, tending northeast in the afternoon, seas to 1.2 metres offshore. Keep a tight grip on the umbrella because you are likely to need it tonight and tomorrow. 90% chance of rain in Brisbane. Storms may fire up as well. 17 degrees early on, warming to a top of 25, and the outlook is for generally unsettled conditions this week, broken by some blue sky here or there. Sunday is our next best bet for a decent day. Temps will warm to 26 Thursday, 27 Friday and Saturday. Sunday a top of 28 degrees. So luckily we didn't see any storms today, but we're not quite in the clear as of yet. We are a reasonable chance of seeing some tomorrow. Georgie and Bill, we'll keep an eye on it. I'll see you then.
Thanks, Amanda.
That's all you can do. Thanks, Amanda.
Lots of rain about at the moment.
Well, it might hang off like today, you never know.
Fire up the barbie on Sunday.
Yeah,
that is 10 News for now.
If I was a betting man, I'd say the project is next. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night.